All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the welcome welcome to the install of the front shifter on this Diamondback Response. Now, now, a lot of times your front shifters. Take a look at them. Some of them are geared for two. Some shifters are geared just for two sprockets on the front. Some are geared for three. This bike's got three sprockets on the front, and this shifter's geared for three. This shifter's set up for three. Also, a lot of times, if you're just switching out the shifter itself, a lot of times you want to hang on to your housing and the cable, because the cable that is attached to the shifter you're replacing it with may not be long enough. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take this off. We're going to take off the handle grip. We're going to take off the brake, and then we're going to take off the shifter. Now with this one, I'm not going to hold on to the grips, the hand grips at all. The hand grips will actually get replaced with something that's a little bit more modern. So we're just going to throw the hand grip away. Right. Well, sometimes you're going to need your bolt, your nut for the shifter, for the brake lever. It's going to be hiding underneath the lever of the shifter, so you'll need to actually undo the bolt for the shifter first. Get that turned out of my way. Now, if you're replacing both shifters at the same time, what you want to do is you want to replace one at a time, so that way you can get your brake levers back to where in the position they were. But if you don't mind them being in a different place, always sit on the bike and kind of have your hand a little bit turned down as you're sitting, and then kind of just rest your hand on the brake, on that brake lever, so that way your brake levers are going to be sitting in the right place. And so that way your brake lever is going to be sitting in the right place, the most comfortable place for you. Okay, got that brake lever loosened up. Pull that off. Now we're going to pull off the shifter. Now sometimes your shifting cables, the housing doesn't go all the way down to with newer bikes. The housing doesn't go all the way down to the derailleur down here. This housing will come in up to about here. You'll have bare wire. And then from here you'll have another piece of housing going to here, and bare wire going all the way down to the derailleur. Got to make sure I'm in bottom gear. So that way this will come off just a little bit easier. Yep. Right, and then when you get the cable off, always with the new cable, if you're replacing it with another cable, always run your length of cable that you have for your existing shifter. Always run that all the way down to the end, so you know if one is a little bit shorter or if it's longer. If the shifter you're replacing it, if its cable is just a little bit shorter, then go ahead and use the one that you've already got on the bike. And as far as housings go, if your cable housings are just fine, go ahead and reuse them. But always keep the housings that are on the other shifter if you have a cable on the other cable and housings on the other shifter. Just in case something happens to the housing, you've got something to replace it with. With all cables, if you're buying your bike brand new, they'll have a piece here to keep the cable from fraying and becoming unwound. So what we'll do is we'll just take a pair of pliers, kind of pinch it on the side here, so it kind of releases, pull it off, and then we'll pull off the housing. Okay, cable's out. Then now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have the cable on this newest shifter is going to be the same length as this cable. Okay, so we're going to line those two up. And what you want to do is you want to get your housings up top here, right here. So, and you want to make sure that you're even, and also you want to make sure that both shifters are in the very bottom gear. So go ahead and give both of them a little bit of a tug. All right, okay, like that. Right, and this is the one we're going to replace it with right here. Okay, this is the one that's been on there. This is the one that we're replacing it with. So we can come down. Okay. Right now you can see the one we're replacing it. The cable is just a little bit too short, so we're going to have to reuse this cable. With all cables, if you're buying your bike brand new, they'll have a piece here to keep the cable from fraying and becoming unwound. So what we'll do is we'll just take a pair of pliers, kind of pinch it on the side here, so it kind of releases, pull it off, and then we'll pull off the housing. I know. That's for Sheila's school. Okay. Sit that down somewhere where you're not going to lose it. And a lot of times with your housing, it's not going to really, a lot of times it won't really matter what you have. A lot of times you want to reuse your housing, because if the housing on the shifter that you're replacing is a little bit new, you want to be able to reuse that. So we're going to turn this. Okay, we're going to make sure this is just right. Okay, and now here we have a little screw here. Okay, and what this screw does is this screw keeps this cable from sliding out. So it keeps the tension, so it keeps that tension. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that screw out. And you want to hang on to that. You want to hang on to that little screw, because you'll need to put that right back when you're done. So what we're going to do, we're going to take that, we're going to just unscrew it a little bit. Okay, and it doesn't take much because it's kind of small. There you go. Put that somewhere where you're not going to lose it as well. It's a tiny part. Housing, because this piece, the end piece came off the other one, so I just went ahead and reused the old housing. The other one was just a little bit just quite difficult to work with, so I just went ahead and went back with this. So we're going to go ahead and get that right there, set it in right where it's got to go. All right. Okay, slide that back on, right back like that. Okay. Now a lot of times you'll see markings where your components used to be, so just kind of get that lined up as best as you can, like that. Okay. Then we're going to take this one, put this one on, thread it through here, get it down into here, and then we'll thread it through, and then we'll get it all buttoned up. We'll get it all buttoned up and get it all buttoned up, get it running. So now, to do that, now we're going to take our brake lever, pick it up, we're going to put it back on. Okay. I'm going to make sure, but you always want your brake lever to sit on top of your shifter. So now we're going to leave these loose. We're going to leave these loose. All of our housings are where they've got to be. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this. Since I'm doing this in my driveway, in my driveway. A lot of times, if you've got it on a bike rack, just kind of, tilt the bike rack, tilt your bike forward, so that way your derailleur comes up towards you, so you have a good clear view of it. But since I don't have a bike rack, I'm going to flip this bike upside down, right like that. That way, I have a little bit of a better view of the bike. Alright, now I've got that tight. The cable's not tight, but we'll cinch it all up. We'll cinch it all up later. I'll get it cinched all up later. But I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. Thank you all for joining me. My name is Ed. This is Ed's Adventure, where it's just I'm doing random things, whether it's getting a bike, getting a donation bike, a bike that's being donated to somebody, or just riding a trail, or just sitting down, having a cup of coffee, and just talking about. Thanks a lot for joining me. My name is Ed. This is Ed's Adventures. Have a good one, everybody.